Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev.
Hello. Good
Hey.
day.
So it is that time of year where I have like my mom's birthday's in May, my birthday's in June, my grandparents who have passed, anniversary is at the end of June, and then my grandfather's birthday is the beginning of July. So there's a lot happening like in a 30 to 40 day period. And my grandfather has been showing up so extremely strong, and the way he shows up is with cigarette smoke, and it's so much so that it bothers my throat, my sinuses, my eyes. Like you would literally think somebody was sitting next to me just smoking and blowing it right in my face on a constant basis. That's what it's like. And even last night, I experienced something that I had not experienced before. I was in bed and I was like having or struggling with breathing because of this scent of smoke. And sometimes I'm just like, hey, Grandpa, thanks for being here. I know you're here. I appreciate you being here. You know, thanks for being here to celebrate whatever, happy anniversary, making all the acknowledgments. And I'm like, okay, the cigarette smoke, I get it, you're here, thank you, right? And a lot of times it'll dissipate and be good. But this has been going on for a couple of weeks now, and I know that he's a very strong person and when in his physical body, like mentally strong. And so it's I know he shows up when I'm about to experience something that may need a little more strength than normal. So I never know what that is. I do my best mentally and emotionally not to get an attachment to what the fuck's coming up now, right? That type of thing, and that fear base. I just like, okay, I know you're with me. Whatever's coming up, let's go. Right? I have more of a stronger perception of myself now because I'm more in my confidence that whatever is going to come up I'm going to be able to handle it in my best way in the moment, but better than I would have 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. So just knowing that his presence is with me and all the things. But the idea that they're always with us, whether he shows up with this scent of smoke or not, he's always available to me. And just recently, we had a mutual friend who passed, and it was in the moment that I found out, I was, a little bit of a shock, like, what? And then it was in my body, kind of a relaxed sensation of, I have more access to her now. I didn't have the access to her that I desired when I had conversations with her because she had her own life experiences, baggage uh, that she was hanging on to, even though she was in the position of helping other people and guiding them in their life journey. She had her stuff. And so getting past that, um, it was like a relief that she finally has released the physical body and doesn't have the attachments to that anymore, and that on a spiritual level I have more access to her knowledge, her wisdom, and all the things and guidance. And so it's like, yay, I got one more on my team.
That's
So,
right. I love it.
so anyway, that's what I've been experiencing lately, and he's even here now. Because I've been smelling the smoke all day. My eyes are not burning, but a little bit of discomfort in my sinuses. And it's not because I'm saying I did just have a cold that I got over. This is like sitting in a smoke filled bar for 5 hours. It's interesting. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever's coming, it's gonna come, and I can't control that, but I just do my best to be ready. So here I am.
So you have an indication that something's up, basically.
Yeah, and it's not like anything like oh my God, doom and gloom, and I need to prepare for the worst. It's a, okay, something's coming. And I can now, like, mentally and emotionally have preparedness within myself to know if, and it may not even be when, but if something pops up that might get my attention in some way, then I would be like, oh, okay, well, this is it. And here we go. And keep your arms and legs in the vehicle at all times because we're going for a ride. Right. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
life has felt like a ride, especially more lately. Something I was kind of practicing last night was just, I was going, we have a full moon coming up, and I last night was having a lot of experiences, and I could feel it going into certain parts of my body, and I knew that I was releasing stuff, and so I would sit with it. I walked into the room, and it's hot right now. So in the room, I think it was 89 degrees in my bedroom before I turned on the little unit in there. And I was like, I kind of laid across the bed and I just closed my eyes and I'm like, but okay, so it's hot. And then all of a sudden I was like guided to be like, but that I can focus on that area or I can raise myself up. So that's like a gauge letting me know where I'm at. And it's not a hopeful thing, but I could be in a different space or I could be just appreciating the heat. It was just a different process that I was doing last night. And all of a sudden it wasn't hot anymore. I was calm and I was relaxed and I was recognizing stuff in my body that wasn't even my stuff in my body that I was feeling one of my daughters. I could feel her all the way back to a certain age because I could see her in the picture. She must have been like 10 years old, but it's like I can see it. There was an energy about it. I don't know what it was. Probably maybe I didn't hear her at the time or something, but I was having all these releases and stuff, and it was pretty phenomenal to just be able to recognize that and be aware of it and just let it process. Not have to, that goes back to the whole thing, the last video talking about fixing things. I don't have to fix me. I'm not broken, but I can have an awareness of I've held on to thinking that something was broken or thinking that something was wrong. And it's like there was nothing. I'm holding myself in a story. Why? I'm holding myself prisoner to that old story. Why? Which has led me to recently, I've notified my landlord for my office that I'm closing office. I don't know exactly what I'm doing from there. I may do some home massages. I may not, so it's just a process, but I've got to trust spirit because I've been being guided and I keep ignoring it. Why? Out of fear. Fear. And that goes back to the whole fixing thing. I like it when people come in because I can fix what's going on in their body. I can help fix this. It might be temporary, sometimes it's permanent, but it's like it's not my job to fix people. It's my job to guide them back into themselves. Otherwise, we'll use the example of someone's gonna have to go watch the video from before this one. But with you, you sat back and you didn't go fix the situation for anybody else. Because if you had done that, you fixing that situation now puts you into the place of every time they need something or they need someone to come fix it, you're being held responsible to go do the fixing. And it's like we don't do that. It's time for us to guide each person back into themselves. And it's because it's not our job to fix. It's not, there's no problem. It's not a problem, it's a perspective thing. And it goes back to childhood. Someone told you that was wrong or that was bad according to what they were taught. It doesn't mean that it was. It doesn't mean that it wasn't. But it's like we put so much weight into that. The kids are they're always trying to make things fair because I always tried to make things fair. Why? I don't know. It came from my upbringing. Always trying to make sure my mom would dress us in the same outfits a lot of times when we were really little. I did the same thing with my girls. Like, so always trying to keep some sort of a balance, but it's like, that's not what life's about. And we're not allowing them to grow if we're always trying to fix everything. And I was doing that, not realizing that's what I was doing. So I'm realizing I've been doing that even for everybody. And it's not mine. And recognizing how much it's having boundaries because I'm a very empathic person. I'm super sensitive. I can use all those words, but I've recognized it within myself because now I'm recognizing my grandkids have the same thing. I can feel stuff going on in other people's bodies and other animals' bodies. Now my grandkids are doing the same thing. They can identify it. They can confirmation. I'm giving them confirmation what they're experiencing. So all the stuff that's going on is actually pretty amazing. It's scary sometimes, but it's helping me put boundaries up, back to that, so that when I'm telling my clients now that I'm closing my office, they're having a reaction to that. And sometimes they're happy about it. And, oh, I'm really going to miss looking at the stuff in the office and miss this and miss that. And it's like, okay, I wasn't ready to say that before because I wasn't okay with all that change. And now I'm okay with all that change. And so now when people are having their responses, I don't have to take it on anymore. Before I took it on because then I'm thinking, oh man, I feel really bad. I should still be there for this person. No, because maybe it's time to let go of this person so they can find somebody else because it's the next teacher. It's not my job to hold on to anybody. So it's just there's so much things that I'm recognizing right now, and at the same point I haven't put up any videos because it's like I don't know everything. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about anymore these days. I don't know. Before I kind of would get an idea of what that looked like, and now it's like I have no clue because the things that I believed in were that's it. That's a matter of fact, and that's the way it is. It's not that way anymore. I don't see it anyway like that anymore. Everything is not the way that I thought it was
Yeah.
because we get the
Never
stories,
is.
and perspectives, yeah, and we build up this whole thing inside of our mind, and it turns out to be something else. It's not a big deal. It's like it's letting go of people. It's letting go of spaces. It's letting go because I've been being guided to something else, but all this time I've been holding on to it. So what are our conversations if we go back to and listen to? I'm talking about people holding on to the side of the water and holding on to the bank and not letting go of it. It's like freaking let go. It was for me. That was for myself to hear those things.
Yeah,
Freaking awesome.
it is. I'm just going to mention real quick that you brought up the full moon, and I get energized during the full moon. So typically I'm in bed by 10 or before. I haven't been going to bed till like after 11:30 for the past 2 nights. And the first night I was laying in bed, I was laying there and laying there. And I was like, what is happening? Because I typically have it on my calendar for a full moon and new moon. But this year I didn't do it yet. And I was laying in bed and I was like, you know what? I bet there's a full moon coming. So the next day, I got a couple hours sleep. And the next day, um, I looked and sure enough, yes, there's a full moon coming. I was like, okay. So I'm not it was just like validating myself of my effects, how I'm affected with the moon. So anyway, there was that. But I also want to talk about you as far as massage is with the thought that I can fix somebody and recognizing that that's not the case. I had to really take a good long look at Reiki and being a Reiki practitioner. I am also an empath. I feel people, their body. I know it's, like I know the sensations. I utilize that to guide me into where to work on them and all the things. But in the end, they're there for a temporary relief because when they get up and when they walk out the door, they don't do anything to change anything. They don't have the they don't want to take on the self-awareness, do the work, do the mental and emotional work, the physical work, whatever that look, the spiritual, like it's a temporary sensation of relief. And maybe that's what they need in the moment. And that's okay. And kudos to them for even taking the time for themselves. The idea that they want me or not, it may not even be a conscious thought that I'm going to fix them, but it's is this, and I'm not saying this out of ego or anything else, but it's like, is this something I want to continue to do for people to depend on instead of learning how to help themselves? And so I've pulled back from that. I'll teach a class. Somebody says, hey, do you have a certification class? I will gladly teach people how to do it. But as far as practicing it, I do it on myself. But as far as practicing it on other people, I've pulled the back from that. And I will utilize it like in my coaching sessions because those people are showing up to work on themselves. Because those, I know it's not a one and done. It's a coaching package, like 6 months, 12 sessions. So I know they're committed to doing something different. So in that space, I may practice some Reiki with them. So and I'll teach people how to do it for themselves. I can certify you to be a Reiki master. Like I can do all that stuff. But as far as setting up shop to be a Reiki practitioner for people to come see me, I've pulled back from that. So it's similar to what you are experiencing now.
Yeah, nice. And it makes a lot of sense because like you just said, it kind of puts us almost in a situation. I might have to flip around here in a minute because my battery said it was low. So surprise on that.
She's like, all right, we're done.
No, I'll just change. I'm just going to kind of shift a little bit. My environment will change a little bit.
No worries. We'll shift with you. I've had those moments too.
I'll go over here. But it was funny because I recognized I was picking up that something about my battery, and then all of a sudden it buzzed and let me know that my battery was low. And I thought that's funny.
And
But
your battery needs charge, just like all of us have to do, right?
yeah, but it's cool because I knew intuitively before it popped up. So is it a big deal for anybody else? I don't care. It's a big deal for me. It just lets me know how I'm paying attention to the energy that I'm receiving. And it's a confirmation for myself that I was able to sit here and have that and then be able to sit here right in front of you and then have the experience. Because this stuff happens all the time. And I think that people negate a lot of that stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Well, all these things that we're talking about is energy. A massage is energy, Reiki's energy. We're all energy. All the things are energy. And recently, I heard somebody talking about with your phone that people experience phantom vibration. That um, that the idea that your phone is buzzing and it's not, right?
Yeah.
And it was a legitimate what they were talking about, and I understood it, and I'm not going to be able to articulate it the way they did. But just the idea that you're like, my phone's right here next to me, and maybe I'll be talking and I think it buzzes because I have it on vibrate. But when I pick it up, there's nothing showing that any notification came through. So it's a phantom vibration. So there's that. But then I was like, okay, well, in my experience, not kidding, I will be sitting there and I'll just get this, pick up your phone. I will pick up my phone and a text comes through or a phone call comes through or a notification comes through. Like I'm picking up on that information, the fact that something's coming through before it comes through. So I'm like, so it's like kind of it's two different things. Because one is a vibration that you think is happening but isn't. And then mine is like, I wouldn't call it a premonition, but like a knowingness, right? My intuitive senses letting me know somebody's thinking of me. Something's coming my way that I need to pay attention to. Yeah. And then bam, something will come through. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
The more we slow down and the more we listen, we actually receive so much information just along those lines too. Like someone could be all of a sudden thinking about me and their face will flash in my mind's eye. I tell my grandson, I said, your third eye. He says, wait a minute, you got three eyes?
I love it.
I said, well, Nobody told I said, you can't see it with a naked eye. And he's like, huh, your eyes are naked? I'm like, it's a reference. And I said, the eye is not one you see, but he also says, he says to me the other night, oh, Vivi's thinking about me. She just flashed in my mind. And I said, well, that's what I'm talking about. That's your mind's eye. That would be your third eye, what we would refer to as a third eye. So it's like just learning. It's just learning different ways, and it's hearing the kids, and it's fascinating because you can feel how the energy is not to be like, better not be talking shit about me because I hear it and I feel it. But you recognize faces will pop up and I'll have a general feeling about what it's about. It may be more neutral, which is great. Someone's thinking about me, great. Just different stuff. And I've just been recognizing a lot of the stuff has been kind of coming up a lot lately, but I've been slowing it down a lot more lately. Like when you decide that you're not going to be the fixer anymore, your life changes. When you decide that you matter, your life changes. Because before I didn't think that I mattered. I didn't think that my opinions mattered. I didn't think that my feelings were valid. I didn't, there were so many things that I thought, that I have thought, and that have come to the surface that I've been able to walk away from lately because I just don't have to do it anymore. And that's the whole thing. We don't have to do it. We don't have to stay in that chapter anymore. It's so crazy. And it's whatever we can conceive. Man, I was getting so much information last night. I was writing all over the mirror. And it's like one of the things that I heard was I need to love me, because when I love me, that means I love thee. And it was like that was pretty profound. There's just like a lot of different things that have been coming forward like that that have been beneficial for myself. And so we share this stuff as we come together because it could benefit someone else too.
I love that you said that, just said that, because it's my job to love me. I was on my way to work this morning. I was listening to Abraham Hicks. And then I got to work and this was laying on my desk. Life Loves You. And it was a book that I loaned somebody. I don't even remember who it was, but they returned it. But it was just the synchronicity of I'm listening to Abraham Hicks on my way to work. And then I walk in and this book is laying on my desk, says Life Loves You. I'm like, what a great validation to receive that so quickly. And then here you are saying, it's up to you to love, it's up to me to love me. Right.
Yeah.
And so I had to share that real quick because I thought that was fun.
And no one's ever going to love you the way that we should be loving ourselves, because that's not possible. They have to love themselves to be in that same place too. They have to. Otherwise, they can just love you from where they're at, and that's okay.
And when you're not loving yourself is when you're not loving yourself. Well, let me put it this way. When you are loving yourself, that feels good. It feels light. It feels airy. It feels fun. It feels exhilaration and all the things. And when you're not loving yourself, that's where, sadness, depression, hopelessness, despair, jealousy, envy, all those things. And keeping in mind that wherever you are with your emotions, this is how your external experience show up as well. And then you can, depending on which side of the emotional scale you're on, it's going to determine what your external experiences are like.
Yeah.
And even so, if you're in that space of self-love and airiness and lightness and all that stuff, something heavy could happen, heavy experience could happen, but you're going to process it differently or perceive it differently than if you are in despair or sadness or grief or jealousy or envy. And it's going to be a whole different story, the way you're perceiving the experience. So keeping that in mind, it's an experience, but based on how you are feeling about yourself is how you're going to internalize what the experience is and how you're going to receive it.
And the energy that you're putting out also. So if I'm critical of myself, then someone else might feel that I'm being critical of them. Maybe I am. But otherwise it's me being critical of myself, and then it just feels like critical energy. And sometimes people will identify that it's the same energy they're feeling as you're feeling, or sometimes their interpretation, because they've had different experiences in this human world, that have it might give it a different word for them than critical. It might be something else, but it's still the same, still a feeling that feels uncomfortable or it feels good. And so that's where it's important too to recognize, because I have been so critical on myself, even lately. I haven't gone to the gym like I used to go. I have taken time off. I've done, there's a lot of different things, but the only one that can change things is myself. And the only one that can do any of that stuff is myself. It's not up to anybody else to do it. I listened to this gal. So I always look at angel numbers. And Freeman had sent me this gal on TikTok, and she was actually giving a different perspective on numbers. She didn't call them angel numbers. And my first initial response was like, I like the angel numbers, but then I'm like, I'm going to go look at these numbers and recognize it And the meanings were different, and they're more like it's time for you to move. Like 111 is means it's time for action. It's time for you to do something. It's not time for you to sit back and think intuitively that everything like we're at a perfect place because it's a creative thing. Depending on how you look at it, right? It's creation. That's a creation number. So to me, it's the same thing as what she was saying, but it's movement. It's movement. It's time for you to do something. It's your comfort letting you know that you're being evicted. It's time for something. We've got to have these things in our life that kind of create a little bit of friction sometimes. It might be perceived as friction, but it's not really. Just to have a different view of things, just to, so you can recognize, oh, I need to let go. I need to not hold on to that anymore. It's time for me to move. And it's like, does my closing my office mean that there's something else couldn't show up? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But how would I ever know if I'm so busy clinging on to what I already have? And so it's just being in that space and trusting God. Like I'm trusting God. It's like I'm being guided in a different direction. Otherwise, I'm not trusting God. I'm not trusting myself. I keep getting these feelings about that it's time to go. It has nothing to do with the people. I'm not in resonance with the job that I'm doing anymore. I'm not in resonance. Can I help people? Yes. Can I connect with spirit and God and all that stuff and do a great massage? Like, yeah, I can. But I can do a lot of things that are great. Whatever we put our minds to, I feel like we can do greatness. But I feel like it, like you were saying, it's an evolutionary process. And it's for me to recognize that I'm not here to fix. And that can be an addictive thing too. Fixing people. It's an addiction. It could be an addictive process as well. And I've recognized that. So many things, so many different perspectives and dynamics that I can look at now. And it doesn't have to be that way. It reminds me of what you were talking about, the story with the two ladies in the last one. And it's like it goes to that same place. You know, you've got an attachment to an outcome. You're not, this isn't here to hurt you. This is here to help you grow. It's to help you recognize there's something going on. And you're feeling these feelings because you know there's something more and you want that something more, but you're keeping yourself from it. Like nobody's kept me from anything but me. Nobody.
And I'll just remind you that we're both in the double nickel year, meaning we have fives and change is not always that other external things are going to change, but it could also be a major movement within ourselves of changing things. And so, and then we're in a 9 years, 2025 is a 9 year. And so change and wrapping up things, tying up loose ends, all the things. So yeah, I was like, when I think about the things I've experienced just in the past few months and my birthday and my age and the 9 year and I'm in a 3 year and all these things. And I'm just like, maybe that's why my grandpa's here. Cause he's like, sister, you're going for a ride this year. You better hang on.
It's so crazy. And I just realized I even missed your birthday. I totally missed your birthday. I've been so wrapped up in my own like processes and my own
I
emotional
celebrated.
stuff.
Okay. I told
That's
everybody.
good. That's good. I'm glad you're not waiting around on me to do that. Good Lord. But because you're always so thoughtful. You always have cards. You drop stuff off at my office. You're freaking wonderful. You're freaking fabulous. Fantastic.
Take me a
I
while
want to look at
that way.
and
No,
even
I didn't sit there and go, oh my God, Beth didn't do, she didn't acknowledge. No, don't worry about it. I bought myself.
Mother Hubbard.
I told everybody it was my birthday. I'm like, this is my day. Like I went to work,
Nice.
all the things. So
Nice.
I would have to say it's probably maybe the second time in my lifetime that I've done that. I bought myself flowers before, but to announce to almost everybody I saw that day, it was my birthday. So I think that I've only done that maybe one other time.
Which is awesome because I'm in the 5/5s too, right? And my birthday's 5/15. So I
Oh,
came in
girl.
here for change. Yeah. I came in here. That's what I came in here for. I find a lot of this stuff pretty fascinating. I'm like, okay, well now I understand. And the first part of my life, I was like all about no change. Like,
Yeah,
nope,
nope.
we are not doing that. Nope, that is out of my control. No.
What's next?
So
Bring it.
yeah.
So
I haven't even looked at my 12-month spread. I have not, I'm just realizing that right now with the moves that I'm making and the decisions that I'm making. I haven't even looked at my 12-month spread.
I'm glad you said that because I haven't looked at July yet, and it's already July 9th. So um probably because I had the eights, had 888 last month, and so I was like, maybe I'm just still hanging on to that.
We're not moving from that yet.
Yeah, not ready. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what July is because I haven't looked at them since December when I pulled this year's card. So I'm always uh it's always interesting that when I do pull out the current month cards, because I draw 2 cards for each month, when I pull them out, because I have them all listed on a sheet of paper. So I do the card pull, and at the end of December, I list all of them for each month on a piece of paper, but I put the paper away. And then each month I'll look and see what cards I have for that month. And so it's interesting to see what's happened just before and what's been trickling in. And I'll make notes on my paper as to anything I remember that pertains to or how it uh, correlates with the cards for that month. So it's a lot of fun.
It is. And then when you look back at the stuff too, you recognize, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense now. And I understand exactly what that was regarding.
Yeah.
Who it was. I mean, understanding everything. It's a wonderful process. I recommend it to anybody. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, and want more information, you can always message us
Yeah, for sure.
and we'll walk through the process.
Yeah. So anytime you're watching our videos, you can leave comments or questions and we can come back to them. We are not a Johnny on the spot gonna respond to you within minutes. It's going to be when we get to it because we have lives and we have a lot going on. So but we'd be happy to connect in whatever way that looks like for us. So and you can share this information and content with your friends and family by being resourceful and just sharing the links. So you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict. And know that other people are seeking these conversations as well. We kind of went all over the place with this video, and that's okay. I'll pick just a piece of the topic that we had and use that as the description for the video. But we had a lot of different pieces to this one, which is great. And I love it because it always flows and it's always, it comes up when it needs to. And I like that about we have organic conversations. Bev and I typically, well, I can't say it, we ever have set a specific topic to talk about. It just comes out. And even just before this, I said, there's something I want to talk about, but I didn't tell her what it was. So there's that. So that's kind of the way we've operated this, 5 years? Has it been 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's over. I mean, I think we're
You started
over 5 years.
2020.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. It's crazy wonderful.
It's crazy fun to even think we've been doing this long. Every week, a video's been put out by us the past 5 years. I think there was one time I did it solo, but I still did a recording. And so, yeah, we have these conversations because it's our own therapy and it's fun to see how we're living almost like parallel lives, having similar experiences, and we're not even talking to each other about it until we show up to do recordings. So that's always fun too. I think it's like, oh, me too. So any final words?
I would say to people to be open to the information that you receive. Sometimes you might have an automatic reaction to something, and that indicates to you that you might want to probably listen to what's being said. Because a lot of times you're like, nope, don't want to hear that. But a lot of times when we have that kind of feeling, there's something within inside of us is wanting us to hear it, but our child version of ourselves isn't wanting us to hear it because it goes against what we've learned. And so it's just being open, because that's what I'm learning to do. It's just being open, and we don't always have the answers, and we just don't know everything. There's no way to know everything. There's been too many experiences in this life that we've all had that are different and sometimes parallel. But it's just being open to the information that's coming in, because I think I've closed the door many times with the I know, and I've closed the door many times with just thinking that I had to have all the information, or just because I was like, nope, that doesn't resonate with me. Instead of just giving it a chance and feeling it, and then kind of really putting it to the test. When you're neutral about these things, and you're not holding on to an outcome or an attachment or any of that kind of stuff, when you're just neutral about it, you'll know what's for you and what's not for you pretty easily. But when you have a reaction indicates that you probably need to dive a little bit deeper and find out why you're having that reaction.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, my friends, this is Tea Time with Amy and Bev, and we will see you next time.
Bye.